Hello everybody and welcome back to the channel, and if you're new here, you're very welcome. I'm Jane and my husband Mike does everything behind the camera. We're British early retirees, we have no debt, we've paid off the mortgage, and we live a thrifty, frugal and money-saving life here in Brittany in northwest France. And every Friday we bring you something food related. And this Friday we want to share with you 7 ways that you can save money in your home when you're cooking, because this is the culprit, isn't it? This electric oven and this electric hob, they are money costers. So let's think of 7 ways that we can save money when we are cooking. One is really easy and it's really obvious, isn't it? And it's about using the right size pan and making sure I've got a lid on it. So not only do I make sure that I fill the pan up, so if I'm going to cook vegetables, I don't cook my vegetables in different pans. I might put the carrots in first and then the cabbage in on top of that and then the cauliflower and beans on top of that, because they cook at different times. But this is the important part. I make sure when I am cooking, I have only just got enough water to not cover it, because when it comes up to a boil or when it steams up, then it covers the vegetables, and the less water to use, the less heat it needs. And I also make sure that I have got a lid on my pan, which means when I bring things up to the boil, I need to bring it down, because once you put the lid on, it creates a wee bit of pressure and therefore it will cook quicker. It'll boil, not boil, like a rolling boil, you know what I mean, don't you? Without having to have the heat all the way up. Just very conscious about that. The right size pan, not too much water, and then make sure I always cook with the lid on. There's the culprit, isn't it? The electric oven. It uses so much energy that when I'm going to cook, I make sure I batch cook. I make sure if I'm cooking or baking, or if I'm cooking a joint of pork, I cook some chicken for the next day. I might put some bread rolls in there to cook at the same time. I make sure that I fill that oven up, and I make sure that I've got that batch cooking done. And I don't have to have the oven on. So when I'm reheating, I'm usually just reheating it, as you can see again in the background, in my little air fryer, portion at a time, or it's in the cupboard behind me. I use my microwave. I make sure, of course, everything's reheated and cooked all the way through. But that one really is a money guzzler. So I make sure when I'm using that electric oven, I'm batch cooking and using it really effectively. The next one, because I'm very aware here that my induction hob on top here does use an awful lot of electricity. So I want to make sure that I check the hob size. I can see what size it is. So I don't put a small pot on a big burner. Funny how we say burner, isn't it? Because it's not a burner, it's just a hot plate. So I'll say hot plate then. I use the right size hot plate for the right size pan and make sure that I wouldn't, because again, people do it. They just don't think about it, do they? They put a small pan on a big induction plate or a big electric plate or a big gas burner, and they're wasting money then. So right size pan, right amount of water in there, and then making sure I've got it on the right size hob or burner. You know what I mean. The next one is all about one pot cooking. I don't mind if it's a slow cooker or in my case an instant pot. I no longer have a slow cooker. I just prefer to use my instant pot. It's just a choice. But anything that I can cook throughout the year in one pot, I use just the one pot. And even if it's something like a meat sauce to go with pasta, do you know what I do at the end? I don't cook the pasta separately. I get the pasta and I always buy like the little spirals or the ones that look like little conch shells and just pop those in at the end. Might add a little bit more water to it and then stick it back in the Instant Pot, literally for 3 minutes. 3 minutes. Come up to steam, come up to pressure, 3 minutes, the pasta's cooked in there. So anytime I can use just the one pot, I'm using just the one pot. The next money saver is all about using residual heat, especially for things like pasta or rice. If it says on the packet, once you drop the pasta into boiling water, cook for 9 minutes, I tend to turn it off after 5 or 6. Just when it's at that boiling point, turn it off, put the pan lid back on the pan, and then just leave it. Leave it for the rest of the time. The thermal mass keeps it at that really high temperature, and you just don't need to cook it for that long. Using residual heat, we've all done that with rice. We've all done that with baked potatoes as well, haven't we? So if you do like I do, and I cook maybe 10 baked potatoes at a time, and then I will turn the oven off so if I know they're going to take about 45 minutes to cook, I'll turn the oven off at 30 minutes. And then the residual heat, they will just keep on cooking, the heat's trapped in there, and keep on cooking those baked potatoes. So residual heat, try it. Sure, if you've done it, have you done this with milk puddings, like rice puddings? You brought the milk and rice and a spoonful of sugar up to the boil, you've just reduced it a bit, and then you've shut off the heat, and then just let it cook in the residual heat. The next one are the joys of the warmer months of the year are to actually plan lots and as many as you can, or as many as you like, of no cooked meals. Times you're just going to say to yourself, we're going to have a bread roll, buttered bread roll with some filling in it, and just make ourselves a big tasty sandwich for our dinner. Or we're just going to make salad, or we're just going to eat fruit and some yogurt. We're not going to make a pudding or dessert. So there's another one. I'm sure you do this too. Share with us below, what no-cook meals do you make in the summer months? First of all, you don't want to heat your house up. And secondly, it's a good way of saving money on your energy bill. Now, we know these electric appliances use loads of energy and they're really expensive. So whenever we have the opportunity, the best thing for us to do is to use a smaller device. How many of us now cook mostly in our air fryers? It uses so little electricity in comparison to an electric oven. How many of you use a halogen oven, or you use a mini oven, or you use your slow cooker, or you use your Instant Pot, and you just don't use your big oven unless, like me, you're doing a big batch cook? So there's the last one for today. Make sure that you are using one of your smaller devices, because it's a great way to save you money when you're cooking. Thank you so much for joining me in my money saving kitchen again today. It was very good to have you here, and you're always welcome. And if you enjoy the videos, make sure you hit that thumbs up button. And if you're not a subscriber, come along and join the Frugal family. We'll see you on the next video. Bye for now.